Welcome to the GOODNITE Show, featuring your host, Jordan Geske.
Shout out, I've been addicted to fades. I've been going to this guy at Kith and Kin Barber off of, I think it's 12th Ave. And Liam, he's got a good fade, and I go like every 2 weeks, sometimes 3 if I'm falling behind, but like I'm addicted to it now. Always have the fade.
I can never keep up with it, man.
Yeah.
That's part of the reason why I loved the mullet.
Yeah.
I always had a fade.
I've always wanted to grow a mullet.
You should. It would work on you, man.
I have like
I can see it.
My hair doesn't go back. It's surfer as hell.
Right.
Like it puffs out. It like I get the wings everywhere. I wish I had the photo to show you. There's a photo of me in my yearbook. It says, we'll pull it up. I'll find it for the video and I'll show it to you later. But it says, most likely to be caught with your girl. That was my yearbook. And I got like some surfer hair.
Yeah, man. So you need to try a mullet. Every man needs to try a mullet once in his lifetime. It just won't
go back, you know? Like, it's, yeah.
That's your thing. That's your unique brand, your unique style.
Yeah.
Also, like, think about the benefits for the show.
Yeah. I could be the next
stand
Theo.
out. You're gonna be like, you're that guy. Exactly.
Yeah.
Like you're like a Calgary Theo Vaughn.
Yeah.
You just have to like make some.
I'm not funny enough, man.
Yeah, man.
That guy's fucking funny.
I think he's the funniest guy I've ever seen in my life.
I know. Shout out. And he's you watch his show, like he's always like, oh man, I wish I was like as popular as you, to all of his guests, and all of his guests are like, dude, you're like bigger than me.
Right.
Like he has no idea how big his podcast is, I think. Like
maybe not.
He speaks so like weirdly about it.
He's a very humble guy, but I don't watch the show too much, but I've seen a few episodes and I get the sense that like he's got some self-esteem issues, you know. He doesn't see himself in this in the way that other people see him.
Definitely. Yeah, he talks about that. Yeah,
which
I used to watch his show a lot. I used to live in Black Diamond, so like I do an hour drive to the studio and an hour drive home every single day.
Mm-hmm.
So like usually like in the morning I would listen to a podcast, and then on the way home I'd listen to an audiobook, kind of like swap it up, some entertainment, some knowledge. And yeah, Theo was like the number one thing I was listening to, especially because his episodes are like 2.5 hours. Like I got like a lot of coverage from one episode if it was a good guest.
Yeah. He has some good people on. Like I said, I haven't watched much, but I saw recently he interviewed Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah.
And I was like, I want to watch that one.
That was a good
This
one.
guy's a brilliant actor.
That was a good one. It was interesting. Joaquin Phoenix was really, he's a weirdo, but he's in like a good way.
In real life, he's not like, I don't know, he's not like the character he plays or whatever.
Yeah.
Like I feel like him in real life is a real character.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
he's
like,
a
an
character on
interesting
his own.
guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's done some great movies. Well, let's do a little introduction here. Welcome back to the GOODNITE Show. We have with us Jesse here, and we have a second show at the end of this. We're going to put another live acoustic show from Brett Cassidy at the end. So stay tuned for that. Jesse, we've met for probably about a year. You showed me your video work. I was at a tattoo shop, and you showed me some music videos and stuff like that, and it kind of resonated with me, and we kept in touch, and you do some really incredible work. So you want to tell us a little bit about your passion, and like you work mainly in like the tattoo industry with your video right now.
Yeah, so I mean, I do video, that's my specialty. And I probably about 95% of what I shoot is tattoos, which is really cool. I consider myself super fortunate to be able to do that. I think we met like, it was actually, I think in February, like right after I first moved here. And moving to Calgary from Toronto is one of the things that allows me to focus on just tattooing like I do. The tattoo industry is doing a lot better here compared to Toronto. And the artists are doing well enough to be able to support a guy like me who wants to only film tattoos.
Yeah.
So I love what I do. It's like a job that I didn't know existed. And I just kind of like was like, I want this to be my job, and just like made it happen. It certainly wasn't easy. I started in the tattoo industry maybe about 4 or 5 years ago as a manager of a big shop in Toronto. I left there. I started a film studio, became a music video director, did that for a couple years. I tried to open my own tattoo studio after that. I couldn't keep enough people working there to keep it open.
Yeah.
And after about 9 months, Ebes, who you had on the show, he was telling me, you got to move to Calgary.
Yeah.
So I moved out here, started doing some work with him. Very thankful for him. He introduced me to a lot of people. And I was able to just like make my way only shooting tattoos. And
Yeah,
I'm
you really carved out a niche. Like it's it's definitely unique. We'll have to. Do you want to pull up Jesse's Instagram as well while we're at it, just so you can probably check out a few videos, because you have a lot of cool stuff going on right now. I think it was a tattoo convention. Which one was just happening?
Yeah, so the Calgary Tattoo Convention just happened. Yeah, run by Alberta Tattoo Shows. They do the one in Edmonton as well. And oh, that's cool how your Instagram grid displays 5 across.
Yeah, they changed that
on web.
They swapped it up on the desktop
because it used to look ugly on web.
Yeah,
with just
it was
3
really bad.
Giant.
I think a big thing, and this is now we're sidebarring, but Apple kind of got in their way. Apple started taking 30% of their ad revenue, and well, when North America is probably like 60% Apple phones right now, right? That's 60% of the revenue is losing 30% of the revenue. So they're now trying to push people to use the desktop and use the internet.
That's why I started using desktop, was because I got the warning saying like, hey, you're going to be charged a 50% tax from Apple.
Yeah.
So you're going to pay more, and they're going to take a third of the transaction.
Yeah, and you're going to get less views, you're going to get less leads. So yeah, running ads, like we both kind of work in the digital marketing space too. You don't just do videos for these tattoo artists, like you do like digital marketing for them too, right? So
sometimes, and for myself as well. And even if I don't work directly, like right now, I'm not actually like doing the marketing for anybody other than like just creating the content.
Cool.
But I'll give people advice or whatever, and I've had to run my own ads or help people set them up in the past. And when I saw like, oh, this is gonna charge you, like if you know anything about advertising, your goal is to drive down your cost of customer
like
acquisition,
30%
right?
Additional cost destroys like your ROI over most time. You're not going to get a good ROI for 3 months, right? Yeah, like the campaign has to kick into gear. There's a lot of optimization that has to happen. You have to find the right creative. Unless you've been doing it for a long time in the industry, like for instance, I assume in the tattoo industry you have it pretty down pat because you're just working in one industry. Whereas like my marketing company that I own works across like 70 different things, right? So it's like, okay, like I have to learn that industry whenever I pick up a new one. So that can take a little bit of time, right?
You know what's really interesting about tattoos is you'd think it would be super straightforward in terms of like just do it the same way for everybody. But I think because art is so different and resonates with like such different groups of people, that I find that it's always just like a mystery when you're starting out. Like what worked for one guy in one city does not work for somebody else.
Yeah, 100%.
It's been super like I constantly have to test to be like, what does this person's audience like?
And especially when they're like already almost pigeonholed. Like if the account has been around for a long time, like it's kind of been categorized already, and their audience is already set in one way, right? Like just if you look at, for instance, like What's Good Calgary. Like everything we do gets 40,000 views on like a mediocre post, and then when we post like the podcast stuff on there, that only gets like 2,000 to 8,000 views, right? Because our audience isn't used to that type, so they don't resonate with that. That is a different form of content than what they followed for. So they're not liking that. So you have to actually carve out an audience that's built for the type of content that you decide to deliver, because different people are looking for different things. Yeah, so it's really interesting, and it can be in one industry. There you could have it, whether you're doing just carousel posts, those are different followers than people who are following for reels. And then there's different followers for people who are following for cinematic reels versus like UGC versus like funny content. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. It really like subdivides these markets, and you kind of have to choose up.
Lately, I've been experimenting with more like a UGC style.
Yeah.
Whereas I used to shoot everything on my 35 millimeter, and I have a crop sensor, so it's more like a 50, kind of like a portrait lens, and make it all very cinematic. I would never use my wide. I was like, every cell phone video ever is on like a super wide camera. I was like, what if I start my first shot with like a super wide shot that kind of looks like a cell phone shot?
Yeah.
And then I would cut in my like, cinematic stuff on top of it. And then I tried doing some where I didn't cut in any cinematic stuff, and I just had the person talk and just did some like zooming in on them and some captions. The stuff started working even better, So now I'm like, it's tough to know, like, it's tough having a background as like a filmmaker and loving film.
Yeah.
And like wanting to make something that I love, and then also wanting like the things that you make to be seen by people.
Yeah.
Because it seems like almost like the less effort I put in,
the better
to the way it looks, the better it's going to be. And then the trade-off is like you put your attention on like storytelling or like a good, provocative concept or something like that, which I think is like always been the most important thing. I think that's actually a problem that a lot of videographers have in general. Or even directors or whatever you want to call them, but they think that like a pretty video is going to like sell something or matter to somebody. Like nobody cares about that. Like the internet is full of pretty pictures that are better than whatever I can make, right? And what they really care about is like story and narrative, and like that's where like 90% of your focus should go. Otherwise, you're wasting, especially as a videographer, you're wasting your client's money.
Yeah, I think it's like a type of desensitization.
Yeah.
Like people are so used to the pretty stuff that they're not looking for it as much anymore. It doesn't stand out.
Well, they're actively looking to avoid it. Like there's a lot of research that's been done, and like a lot of times like professionally produced content won't produce the same, and it's because people have a really good filter in their mind for what's an ad. Yeah. And if I see a shiny, polished video in the first 1 second, I'm just going to swipe away. I think that's an ad. I don't want to watch it, right?
Yeah.
So that's why I did the shot that's super wide at the beginning, and I'd put like a little title on it or something and put some captions on it, and then it feels more like this is a social media post, UGC.
Especially in a world where like AI and everything is going on, people want it to feel more authentic than ever before. It's funny because how you said that, I think I told you before when we started What's Good, we were shooting everything on cinema line cameras in very cinematic shots, slow motion. We were bringing lights to get the perfect lighting. We're doing everything the same that you were doing. And like that in the first like year, we got like 10,000 followers. And then we swapped. We went to like UGC, authentic. Like we want to hear people's thoughts. We want to post about things that are like more relatable, right? And that totally flipped the whole account on its head. We're at over 100,000 in the second year, right?
I saw that. Congrats. Yeah.
Thanks.
Because when I started following you guys, it might have been like 60,000.
Yeah, 50 or 60.
And just almost doubled.
Yeah. We really focused in on a few things, and we have a good network that we work with too, and that's good. But even like looking like a few months ago, I was running a different podcast, right? And quickly you have to reiterate that. And I think that's part of like being a creative now is changing so fast that like we're in the middle of the pendulum here while it's swinging, me and you. We're in a generation that has the ability to still adapt, right? Some people who have been doing video for 40 years, they're never going to go and start making UGC shit. You know what I mean? Like they're never going to make that style. They're like, no, that's not video. Think about Martin Scorsese or whatever, right? Like when he talks about the Marvel movies, he's like, that's not cinema. I agree with him. Sadly, the young generation thinks it's cinema. Right? So like that's the same kind of burden of a creative, right? As the times pass, like if you can't adapt, you're left behind. I see it a lot. And I have a very good friend, Paul Van Ginkel, who like he spends a lot of time working on business versus his painting is what makes him money, but he knows he has to stay up with the times. He's posting on social media and everything, and I think he's in his 60s.
Does he have business outside of the painting? Or
No, he's a full-time painter. Yeah,
right. But he spends a lot of time on the actual business,
on talking to people, on posting on all the different social media platforms, on doing research. I've helped him look at different markets and stuff. He's a really smart guy, and it's cool to see. And he's always like. Painters pay photographers for their photos too, right? They'll commission. So he has people who are always looking for something that Paul Van Ginkel would want to paint too, right? So he's built that network as creative. And as a guy in his 60s, like to be able to like grow that and keep adapting, it's just so impressive. So like that's something that I really like to see, where it's like not a lot of people as they get older want to adapt to the times, right?
Especially creatives. A lot of them really like stagnate.
Yeah.
And a lot of them get pretty good and then they stagnate, and eventually that turns into like deterioration as the rest of the world evolves around them.
Yeah.
But what I've noticed though is a lot of the masters. Like I watch a lot of, like, I'm in the tattoo space, right?
Yeah.
I recently went to a big seminar called Shoulders of Giants. Shout out Shoulders of Giants. And they had 4 like kind of master tattoo artists come and, you know, give people advice on mindset tattooing and things like that. But what I noticed from those guys and other like guys that I've seen that have been doing it for many years and they're still at the top of their game is they're like highly adaptive people, and they're like obsessed with learning.
Yeah.
And they're so humble, and they're like, I know nothing, and I have to like continuously like go out of my way to seek out like new information, and not just like binge information for the hell of it, but to like put it into practice. And it's really admirable. But what you see most people do once they get really good at something is they're like, oh, I don't need to learn anything else.
Yeah.
I've got it, and they stay the way they are, you know.
A jack of all is a master of none, but always sometimes better than one. You know, like what you knew yesterday, you knew about yesterday. It's a new day. Adapt, and that's huge, right? And that's we do that across all of my different businesses, right? From the production company to the social media to the marketing. All we're ever telling people is like, well, you have to change. That's the key. It's changing, always adapting, learning, growing, trying new things, right? It's difficult because you do want your brand to look a certain way. Me and Ebes talked about this. He had a good analogy that I think we came up with together. But when you look at his Instagram page, the front page is very pretty, right? Like really well shot videos. It's like the storefront, right, of a retail store. And then when you go to his Reels page, it's all like shot on a cell phone. It's a little goofier. It's not like well shot or anything, but those get 1 million views, right? But then once people go to your page from there, you want something pretty to show them so that they know that they should actually buy from you too.
100%.
You know what I mean? So it's like having a mascot for a sports team or something like that. You know what I mean? Like the sports team is professionals, but the mascot is going to bring in the attention, right?
Absolutely, yeah. I'm very particular about like the way that my page presents on the main page compared to the Reels.
Yeah, same.
And even if it's a really good content piece, I might still move it to the Reels because it just doesn't look good on my grid. With everything else there. When people get to that grid, I want them to see that I want it to look like it's like a magazine, like really meticulously curated. And to your point about like certain pieces of content kind of have different purposes. Like certain things, like I sell tattoo videos for people, which generally is me filming a tattoo they've done. They talk about it, their client talks about it, whatever. But that's not what's going to bring me followers. The stuff that I've been doing where I film tattoo artists talking about tattoos, those content pieces are the ones that are blowing up, bringing me in the followers. And then when they get to the page, I want them to see what I'm actually trying to sell them, which is you know, me doing their content for them. You know?
Yeah. I think, you've really carved out the niche, and I love the new stuff that you've been doing. Like you got it really down point, from the color grade to the shots to the font is just good work.
Thanks a lot. I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm trying to have like a clear and consistent brand image.
You do, yeah.
You know, and I worked on that color grade. It took me years to like figure that one out.
Yeah.
I'm no master at color grading, but I've been sticking to this one for some time now, and it's something that I'm able to do really fast and really consistent. And the font, I got lucky with that one. But,
yeah. Sometimes it's all you need, a little bit of luck, trial and error.
Yeah, but I feel like the consistency also helps breed like trust in the client.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Sorry. Yeah, and like they might not follow you the first time, but if they see it 20 times and they're like, oh yeah, I know this guy's content, I mean, I should follow him. I always see it and I always like it. I should follow it, you know? And that's a big thing. Like What's Good has like a very clear brand, right?
So I have a really small following around, I remember it was just below 2,000 a couple months ago. And now I'm coming up on, I think, 2,700.
Yeah.
Yeah. So That happened really fast for me because that 1900 took me like 10 years to build that,
it
right?
compiles, yeah.
And then, you know, when I got the consistent look, when I started focusing on like the storytelling and like the relatable conversations instead of like just posting shiny videos,
Yeah.
all of a sudden like things started happening quickly,
Yeah.
right? And I mean, I was averaging probably around 10,000 views per month on my own posts. Most of the things I would make would get posted by the person I made it for, and I might be lucky to be a collaborator, but that's not counting towards my like profile reach, right?
Yeah.
But when I started making things that I wanted to make and posting it myself, I went from 10,000 on average monthly views to now I'm at 400,000 in the last 30 days. I'm trying to get to 1 million this month. I did an
Throw some
interview.
money at it.
Yeah, no, it's at 0% with ads too, which is
ours
crazy.
is usually at 1 or 2%.
I think I had
It'd be hard to. We got a lot to get past like 1% ads on What's Good. We'd have to spend like $100,000.
Yeah, man. When I was in Toronto and I had my film studio, I was spending about $2,500 a month on ads, and I think that I would get somewhere between 60 to 80,000 per month.
Yeah. Ads don't give you that much.
So it's like to figure this out and be able to save myself that $2,500 and get what I would have paid like 10 grand for in return is an amazing thing.
Yeah,
for
100%.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, that's
I
wicked.
did an interview this week with James Tex a couple days ago, who was the last season of Ink Master. He was the winner. Him and his son Anthony Tex were both on.
That's wicked.
And he's been like a Calgary or like Alberta, Canadian, North American legend for like a long time. He's been tattooing, I think, for like somewhere around like 25 years, and that was super cool. He has a huge audience, so I'm hoping that I'm really trying to hit the 1 million monthly impression mark this month. Yeah. And then I'm gonna interview Derek Turcotte this month as well, who he's got like close to 500,000 followers. He's out in Canmore at Electric Grizzly Tattoo. That's his shop. Super famous shop.
Kind of
And
style.
then he does like a lot of like comic book art and like cartoon art.
Oh, that's wicked.
And it's full color.
Yeah.
Crazy stuff. I'll have to show it to you. Or
Yeah.
maybe you can like pop it up on the
we
screen
will.
or something like that.
Yeah.
And then Anthony Fleming I shot yesterday, who's also like a super well-known artist, incredible color artwork, and he draws it all. That's what I love about him and James as well, is they're both like drawing all of their artwork, and it's like the purest form of creation, like starting from scratch. I don't know if James, I didn't ask him this, but he probably rarely uses any references, but I know the other guy uses some references sometimes, but still it's like purely you start with nothing and draw it out, and eventually it becomes a tattoo. And I love seeing that process. It reminds me of like farm to table, like restaurants. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, because it really varies between artists, like what the design process is for the tattoo, right? Whether they're drawing it or someone else is drawing it, or if they're doing like a mashup of stuff, right?
Yeah,
it's interesting, and I've learned a lot about tattoos over the last little bit, because I never had one until I met Ebes on a tour bus, and then I popped by his shop and was like, I think I want a better one.
Nice.
Yeah.
I forgot that's how you guys met, was on the bus.
Yeah. Me and my business partner got tattoos. I'll put mine up, and then maybe I'll put my business partner's up if he lets me. But his is funny. He got his year of birth.
That's not good. No way.
Yeah.
Oh man.
It was really big. Yeah.
That's too funny.
With a little skull, and the skull has a cowboy hat with the like What's Good G on it. That part's kind of cool. But the big 94. Sorry, Brett.
Tattooing your business on you is always a good one too.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got
It was
one
a
of
tour
those.
bus at Stampede. Have you ever had cut water?
No.
Cut water, it's this drink. It's 12.5%. So it's a canned margarita. They were the same price as every other drink. We didn't know they were 12.5%. We drank a lot of 12.5% cut waters, and we were at Stampede.
Now. Yeah, you told me
So
this
it
story
was,
once before.
it was a day. Yeah, it was a good day. Yeah, got my first tattoo. My first tattoo was C'est La Vie. I wasn't upset with mine.
I've never decided to get a tattoo drunk or gone into the tattoo drunk, but through some of the longer, painful sessions,
Yeah.
you know, I've learned that tequila is the best way for me
Yeah,
to get
hey?
through a tattoo session. So
Perfect.
I've maybe ended a tattoo session drunk, but
Yeah.
never started.
Never
one.
started.
And I
Yeah.
think that's an important rule to follow.
Yeah. I don't condone what I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
could
think
turn
I've
out
seen,
bad.
what did you end up getting? Sorry.
Mine, C'est
Yeah.
La Vie.
Oh, C'est La Vie, right?
Yeah,
you just
C'est La
showed me.
Vie on the tour bus. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, no, that was fun. Stampede's a wild time. You never know what's gonna happen.
I've
I just
still
never
never
gonna go again.
I've never done it.
Yeah, it's not that crazy. Like this year, it was Stampede was something. Like I think it was a little blown up. Like the Coke stage was like just dangerous. Like the amount of people there. Like usually it's a much smaller crowd at the Coke stage, but they moved it, and there was like no way in or out of there, and like. I don't know. It was a little too busy this year for me, but like the food's fun. I got to the Stampede and I walked to like 10 food trucks right away. And I just like tried 10 different crazy things. And then I went to the rodeo and I watched the chuck wagons all night. Right.
Food
And,
trucks sound good.
the food trucks and the rodeo is fun.
The rodeo sounds fun too.
Yeah.
I'm a very introverted person.
Yeah.
Big crowds, and
Yeah.
I get like sketched out.
Yeah. I didn't like it.
I hate it.
Yeah.
I escaped. This is my first year here. I actually saw the Stampede. Excuse me. I saw the Stampede when I was a kid.
Mhm.
I think I was in grade 4, in between the summer of grade 4 and 5, and we all did a trip out west.
Yeah.
Saw the Stampede. But this year's my first year living here as an adult, and I flew back to Toronto for the Stampede.
Yeah.
It just happened
Good
to be
call.
a coincidence, but I was like, thank God I'm getting out of here for
Coincidence.
this.
Yeah. No, that's wild. Yeah. No, well, shit. We'll get rodeo for this year. We'll go. I'll take you.
I saw they
You'll
were
want to
trying
go to the chuck wagons. That's fun.
My good client and friend Dylan Murray. He owns Freehold Concrete.
Oh, cool.
It's one of the best concrete companies in Calgary. But he raved to me about the chuck wagons. He
Yeah,
was
they're
like-
really fun, dude.
He was like, the Stampede is chuck wagons.
Yeah,
He's like,
yeah.
this is the most important part. Like, you have to go see it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he described it to me, and it sounded pretty horrific. I'm not gonna lie, but I'm a little bit intrigued.
It's really fun. Like that was my third year going to the truck wagons. The last 3 years, that's basically all I've been doing is the rodeo. Like I have no interest in like the fairway, like the grounds with all the rides, and like the Coke stage has been getting out of control, so I haven't been going to that. And honestly, like Stampede's pretty fun throughout the city. Go to 17th Ave. Go to Wild Rose. Go to Bottle Screw Bills. You know, like go to the bars that are celebrating Stampede and like see all that stuff that's going on, because you'll never see like the city so alive, and that's really cool, right? And there's so many other events going on. Just walk down Stephen Ave, walk down 17th Ave. You'll see
Right.
so many crazy characters coming out that usually aren't around in Calgary, right? And I think that's really cool. I like seeing that, like seeing the city come to life. I went and I got the white hat fitted from Smith Built. I got my boots from Alberta Boot custom made, and then I don't go down to the Stampede. I go to the rodeo, and I go to other events around town. But
Nice.
that's the fun stuff.
Well, next year I'll check it out.
Yeah.
Unless I happen to get away again.
Yeah.
But we'll see how I feel. I imagine I'm not gonna like it. I don't like going to bars or
Yeah.
or going
Me
to
neither.
like big
Yeah.
events.
On the average week, I'm like I'll do like a couple beers at like one of the bars, but I'm not out and about very much. Yeah.
Part of the reason I left Toronto and came to Calgary was like I was tired of the city being so alive. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
that's fair.
moving here has
Yeah.
been such a blessing in terms of how like the pace the city moves at, how it's not so overcrowded. When people tell me they're like, "Oh man, traffic was bad today," I'm like, "There is no traffic here ever." You know,
Yeah.
it's like.
Yeah.
I'm used to like when you leave, like I'd be on Spadina, like a kilometer from the highway in Toronto.
Yeah.
And it would take 45 minutes to get to the
That's
highway
crazy.
at 11 p.m. at night.
Oh my god.
Or you'd be leaving at like 2 or 3
I
a.m.
know
in the
we're
morning.
blessed here. We are.
And it's still packed
But
at
like
that time.
another place being worse doesn't make another place better. You know what I mean? It's just like we're just less worse, you know? Like
I don't know. It makes it better to me.
yeah,
I
no,
love it
it's
here.
better for you, but like, you know, there's still like, let's get rid of that shit. You know?
I thought
I always on What's Good we post about like 40% of roads in Calgary are in disrepair, and like the comments are always like, "Oh, you should go to Winnipeg and see their roads." And it's like, I don't give a fuck about Winnipeg's roads. all
I
right?
hate
That's
that
like,
type of shit.
like,
man.
come on, like I'm talking about these roads. Like, let's fix our roads. Let's not give the people who are supposed to fix our roads an excuse. right? Like
Yeah,
hold them
yeah, yeah.
accountable.
No, I agree with that. I hate when you like call attention to something and then somebody is like, "Oh well, it's worse over here."
Yeah.
Like, who cares?
There's always a place that's worse, man.
It
I'm
doesn't
looking for the
mean that
greener
it
grass.
couldn't be better,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I'm looking for exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when it comes to video, you haven't always been doing just tattoos. Like what was your journey on that path? Like before you carved out this niche, like
Right.
I've seen some of your stuff. The first thing that I saw, I think you should tell the story about the music video. We can't play it because of copyright, yada yada. But the one in the convenience store that you showed me was an incredible video. We'll put a link in the description so people can check it out.
You might be able to play it. I could get you the
Ask and I'll
approval.
put it up if I can. Yeah.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. So I was hired by a great Juno-nominated rock and roll band, Harmonies, from Toronto, and also partially from Argentina. And it was my second music video with them, and they told me that like we like your kind of like cinematic style, and we want to do a music video where we rob a convenience store and have you tell that story. There's actually a famous like old school, I don't know if they showed it to me, it looks like it's maybe like 90s or super early 2000s Argentinian music video.
Now, eh?
Yeah, to me, man, I was born in 95.
Yeah, same, yeah.
So there's this super famous Argentinian music video where these guys come in and rob a convenience store, and they have like pantyhose like over their face, and they're like, the people, we have a large following in Argentina, and they're gonna get the reference, so we want to make a video that starts out the same way, where we come in and we rob this convenience store. So they had a friend or a guy that they just knew who owned a convenience store that was shutting it down, and he said on the last day of business he'd let us come in and film. So we show up to film. First thing is like, he's not closing the doors. Like, so customers are still walking in while we're shooting this music video.
Got to get rid of the stock.
So I got four guys and one woman in leather jackets with face masks on. They've got pantyhose over their face, pulling a gun on the store owner at the cash, and then people walk in to buy their prime energy drink or whatever, and they're just like, they think that the store is actually being robbed. So that was a major concern, right? Is like, the cops are gonna bust through the doors and like tell us all get down on the ground, right? Luckily, nothing like that ever happened. It was pretty. Not too many people did come in, but when they did, they had some weird looks. And like, I had guys being like taped up as hostages and stuff like that. So it was a little concerning. But I remember they were told that we were gonna have the music video the shop for the rest of the day, and even if like the shop owner had to leave, like we could continue to use the space. So I was like, okay, great. And I think we planned to spend like 5 or 6 hours at the shop. We'd been there for an hour and a half, and then the shop owner was like, who's in the video, he plays the shop owner who gets robbed, like the old Asian shop owner who's terrified getting robbed. He did an amazing job. But after an hour and a half, he was like, oh yeah, guys, like in half an hour, like we have to lock up and leave. And we all were just like, wait, what?
Yeah.
So then we had about an hour and a half worth of work done, and then the next half hour we had to scramble to finish this music video and like finish the plot, make sure it all makes sense, make sure it's fun, make sure it's entertaining. It turned out okay. It turned out great. I think that everyone loved the video. You said you loved the video.
Oh yeah,
I do really like it, but all I can think of is like, I had all these shots
ideas,
planned where like the hostages were gonna be like on the floor on their side, and like the pedals for the guitar. Yeah. The pedals would be like next to their heads, and they'd be like stomping the different pedals and stuff, and the hostages would be like scared they're gonna get stomped on. Yeah. And, I don't know, stuff like that, funny stuff that just like built out this, and they were gonna progressively like get into the song and like start like kind of like jamming out to the song while they're tied up, and then they'd get untied and freed, and it still was a fun time. But it certainly, I think part of being a really good, I don't want to say filmmaker, because film is kind of like, if you're making an actual film, it's kind of the opposite, where you have like all the time in the world to do everything the right way and have it all be super
someone else's
controlled.
money usually. So
yeah, but in small budget music video production, and I think that those skills help me now a lot in what I do in tattooing. But you need to be able to move on your feet. Yeah, you need to be able to be like, you need to know that like in small budget music video production, like everything you talked about with your client, like they don't care so much
Yeah,
as they should.
Yeah.
And nothing will go to plan.
Yeah.
It will not be planned out accordingly. There's going to be 100 problems along the way. And you kind of have to be very solution focused and like be ready to just redirect in like an instant and just be like, we're doing this now and move forward.
Decisiveness is the key to owning a business. Whether you're freelancing or you own a business or you're a manager or you're an entrepreneur or you're a director at a company, decisiveness is the key. Like no matter what's going on, the ability to just make a decision when you need to, if no one else is, or if a decision goes wrong, the ability to bounce back with another decision. We always say like, we're okay with failing. We just want to fail fast. Right. So it's like, just get it out of the way. Like if this doesn't work, we're going to know by this time. And at that time, I have another plan. You know what I mean?
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. Being able to pivot, like we were talking about that earlier, just in business in general, right? Like you need to be able to adapt and learn and try new things.
Yeah.
And yeah, sometimes like some of these music video shoots I'd be on would be on, usually they'd be on like a 4-hour timeline, but sometimes people would cram me down into as short as like an hour timeline.
Yeah.
I was going to say 2 hours, but then as I was thinking about that, I can think of a couple times where they're like, oh, we have 1 hour and we want to shoot this thing. So it's all about just like going with the flow. And what I do now in tattooing, like it's by the nature of what it is, like quite literally, like every single thing they do is permanent. So it's not like I'm like filming a chef and I can be like, make those flames explode again. It's like once the fucking black ink is in the skin, am I allowed to swear? What? Can you swear? Once the black ink is in the skin, like it's in the skin, and it's like when they apply the stencil, like once it's on there, it's on there.
Yeah.
And
don't miss the shot.
They're constantly moving around and like blocking the best angles, and you find like this great angle and you're ready for the shot, and then as soon as they go to do it, they like move and you're like, oh my God, and you have to like jump around and like find another good angle very quickly.
Yeah, it's funny.
So that's like being highly adaptive is it really comes in handy now.
Yeah.
And what I do.
Yeah, well, you're good on a gimbal too. There's some great
you.
gimbal work in that music video we were talking about as well. When you like pull back from the singer, like through the crowd or whatever, I think I saw, if I remember. I haven't watched it in a while, but it was really well done.
I know the movement
really well
you're
done.
talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, music videos got me really good at
using a gimbal. Hey?
Using a gimbal. Now,
gimbal work is really crazy.
I barely use it now at all.
I love gimbals.
I love it too.
Gimbals are like my favorite thing about videography, like being able to take like these little cinema line cameras like that and like put them on a gimbal, and like the stability that you can get and everything. It's like I want to shoot just a whole movie just on gimbals.
I almost don't use them at all now.
Yeah,
so I use them to film the actual tattoo when it's done and I'm showing the work, because I want that to be steady and stable so you can see all the details. But I find that I can't be as adaptive and fast as I was just describing, because the thing takes a minute to react. I need to like put the camera here, try at all these different angles right away. And I feel like it lacks character as well, unless you're doing these really elaborate shots that are moving from this subject to that subject.
Yeah,
it's like
exactly.
super cool. I feel like the smoothness gets rid of like the little handheld shakes and stuff.
Yeah,
makes you feel like you're there.
Yeah,
gives it some character,
that authenticity to it. Yeah,
and I also feel like it's easy to. I learned this doing music videos. It was super easy, and I was hypercritical of other people doing this and myself. But it was super easy to fall back on making movement what makes the shot interesting. And I had a business partner at the time that was a photographer, and he would take one picture and the photo would be so nice. And I'd think, if I paused one of my shots, it wouldn't look as good as that. And I was like, I need to make sure my shots look as good as a photo.
Yeah.
And when your shots are, your subject's rotating clockwise and you're orbiting around them counterclockwise, like that just like fools you into thinking that you had a good shot. It is interesting, but it's like, what if you focused like all you have in photography is the composition, the lighting, the framing. So now those are the three things that I focus on.
And that's like, that's peak. Like that's how you really get good, is like focusing on composition and lighting and like being able to bring that out. And
yeah.
I think me and Donovan have a lot of fun with lighting nowadays. Hey,
yeah. I love lighting.
Yeah.
Lighting is my absolute favorite thing to do.
Yeah.
When I can get on a set And that's why I still like, I went back to Toronto recently to film a few music videos. I don't really do that much anymore. It was people who had paid me for stuff in the past, and then they rescheduled, and then I moved. So I had to go back to shoot the videos. But when I can get on a set and I can spend the first 45 minutes to an hour just moving the lights around, it's so nice to go back into an environment that's totally controlled compared to what I do now is like completely uncontrolled, right?
Yeah.
And to be able to curate every little detail. Yeah. That's why I thought I'm not really big into like film and television. I love documentaries, but I'm not into like I like reading books too, but not fiction, right? I like reading like practical nonfiction stuff.
I'm the same way.
And I never thought I would want to direct like a fictional film, but now I feel like I want to write and direct a fictional film one day, just because every single detail in that entire thing is meticulously considered. Like
it's like so insane.
Like it's the whole. You've created the whole world. And it's like what we were talking about earlier with like people who like start with the drawing and go through to the tattoo, or like people who start from like the farm and they grow their own ingredients and then end up serving it on their table at the restaurant.
The world building in film is like incredible, and it's not just like, oh, what are they wearing? It's like, well, why are they wearing it? How are they wearing it?
Yes.
Right? It's like, cool. Is it like sloppy? Is it stained? Is it clean? Is it pressed? Right? Like, what do they have in the background? Well,
and like,
why
do
they
say
have
about
in the
these
background?
characters?
Yeah, it all tells, every little detail tells a story, which is really cool.
Yeah, and I'm a very detail-oriented person, and in like the videos I make and the stories I tell, and also like the way I go about doing marketing, is like I'm thinking about so many little things that most of them will probably not be perceived by the majority of people, but I think the accumulation of all of them will like induce some sort of a feeling that I'm looking for.
Yeah,
you know, what I mean?
100%.
Yeah,
no, your work definitely shines. I'll tell you that much. So
thanks a lot, man. I appreciate it.
Well, you do have, what are we running at right now? 40 minutes-ish or 42. Well, we'll talk really fast about it a little bit more because you have like a project that's coming up. And I don't think you've started too much of it yet, but like still give you some time to kind of put the limelight on it. You were talking about documentaries. I think that's a good segue.
Yeah. So I want to do a documentary. I want to do a documentary on tattoo artists. I don't want it to be about tattoos. I want it to be about tattoo artists and like telling the story of like who these people are. And I hope that it's entertaining for anybody who does tattoo, doesn't tattoo. But what I'm
wants to know more about the world.
Right.
Yeah.
What I'm really hoping to do though is to provide some sort of guidance to people who have gotten into or are thinking about getting into tattooing beyond being entertaining. I make a lot of content right now that is like, and I love it and everyone loves it, and this is what everyone wants to see. They want to see people talk shit about stuff.
Yeah.
They want to hear people say, oh, that's bad, about the things that they agree with and they resonate and they share it. But what I really want to be able to do is start offering some sort of guidance or solutions. Yeah. Now, this isn't as like viral, you know what I mean? So I want to build a bit of an audience first. I was about to start filming in October. And then I started creating the short-term form content we were talking about. It really took off, grew my reach, grew my following. And then I thought maybe I should lean into this, grow an audience that's interested in this type of stuff, and then drop the documentary. Yeah. But essentially what it's going to be is 5 to 7 episodes over the course of a year. The first season, because I intend to do many on different continents, the first season will be North America. And I want to have a handful of old school tattooers that have been doing it for 15 plus years, and a handful of new school tattooers that have been doing it for around 5 to 7 years. Some of these guys that have been doing it for only 5 years are like unbelievably good, like incredible, can't believe it, right? Yeah. A lot of the old school, there's a lot of really terrible tattooers that are new as well, but a lot of the old school guys, they don't want to see the like wisdom of the past be forgotten. Yeah. You know, the traditional old school apprenticeships have gone by the wayside. There used to be a lot of gatekeeping of information in tattooing, and now you can learn to tattoo on YouTube. Gatekeeping is gone. There's no way around it. So that's why I'm like, since everyone says, oh, we got to bring this back, it should be the way it used to be, but it's not. So I want to ask the old guys, okay, what can't we forget? And then I want to ask the new guys is like, how did you use the climate of today in terms of like limitless, free, education.
Yeah.
How did you take that and run with it and actually succeed? Because there's a lot of people that are doing like dog shit work.
Yeah.
But then it's like some people that had the talent, had the discipline, you know, took advantage of the information that was out there. They advanced faster than anybody ever knew was possible.
Yeah.
You have guys that have been tattooing for 3 years that are doing better work than guys that have been tattooing for 30 years.
Yeah.
And I think that those guys have something to
And they
say
may have
as
never
well.
got there if it was gate kept. Right.
They might not have,
But
right.
it's interesting because I see the gatekeeping in a lot of industries. It's all like falling apart. But like, for instance, like in some of my areas that I'm working, like for instance, digital marketing, like there's really no more gatekeeping there. But all that's given way to is a lot of like con men and shit like that. Like I'd say 85 to 90% of people who come to my marketing company who walk through the door to talk to us have been ripped off by somebody. There's people who have been getting like search engine optimization for 10 years, and I pull their analytics and they don't have a single thing done for them, right? Which accounts to tens of thousands of dollars that have been wasted, right? Sometimes over 6 figures. So it's interesting to see the pros and the cons of gatekeeping, because the gatekeeping made sure that the people who made it through deserve to make it through. Whereas like the opening of those gates allows anyone to give it a shot, which is good, but it also allows a lot more people to fake it, right?
I don't think that anyone should be given a shot. It
Yeah,
depends on the
I
industry.
agree.
It depends on the industry. But
Yeah.
when it comes to tattooing, it's like you're altering someone's body
Yeah,
for the rest of
100%.
their life.
Yeah.
And I see guys, and I hate to put it this way, especially like as someone who doesn't tattoo, but like, I don't know, you don't need to be a chef to know if something tastes good or not, right?
Yeah.
You know, there's guys that have been tattooing for 20 or 30 years and they still suck. Like, and it's like, oh man, it's tough to say because when they started, like everything kind of sucked. So it was fine. But it feels like these days that, and I don't want to pick on the guys that have been doing it for 20, 30 years. There's guys that have been doing it for 5 or 10 years that I feel the same way about too. But it's like, I feel that they shouldn't be tattooing.
Yeah.
If you've been working 10 years on something and, you know, you show up late and you go home early and all of your work sucks, it's like you shouldn't be doing this.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
should
100%.
you should be in this industry because you love it.
Yeah.
And like there's a certain sort of reverence you should have for your clients and like changing their body forever. And if like you don't love something enough to like really put in the work and excel at it, then like you should move on and find something else.
Agreed.
I think that in tattooing these days, you know, when people got into it 15 years ago, there was no money at all.
Yeah.
So when you got into tattooing, you got into it because you loved it and you thought you were going to be broke forever. Now tattooing has, you know, all sorts of money involved.
Big culture too.
It's attracting a different sort of audience that aren't necessarily into it because they love tattooing. They just see what a tattoo artist is and they think, oh, well, I might like to be that. And, you know, they're in it for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
And then they don't end up doing
Yeah.
great work.
Good money also just attracts bad people, you know?
Attracts bad people.
Yeah. Good money attracts bad people.
Yeah.
Yeah. You look at like real estate, you look at the stock market, those kinds of things, they attract like con men, right? Big money that can happen quickly.
Yes.
You know, like tattoo is like one day of work, thousands of dollars. Some people, they're like, well, I only have to do like, don't really need to build a client base to make a few $1,000s, you know, and they can just rip off a few people sometimes too, which is interesting. Big money always attracts bad people. Yeah.
100%. Yeah. It's a problem everywhere, right?
Well, Jesse, thanks for coming on. You're great. I love your video. We'll give you a bunch of links down below. We're gonna wrap this one up, and what we'll do is we have a show from Brett Cassidy. He's gonna do a little acoustics for us. Stay tuned for that, and thank you, sir.
Thank you for having me, man.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
I walk home, get to know my boots. Eyes looking down, sidewalks carry roots. Carry me home, no pace of feels new. As these lingering footsteps, they lead me to you. rabbits in alleys and little tree stumps. Parts of the forest they linger undone. Must not be losing, it feels like I've won. Must not be losing, it feels like I've won. None of the shadows I thought I could use, and fearing and hiding from some lesser fools. Now I'm not afraid of telling the truth. All these lingering footsteps that lead me to you. None of the shadows I thought I could use, and fearing and hiding from some lesser fool. Now I'm not afraid of living my truth. All these lingering footsteps that lead me to you. Well, these lingering footsteps might lead me to you.